What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Zach and Pat Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Pat.
This is the show about manhood, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and the mentality it takes to be successful at those things. And we'll probably sprinkle in some helpful real estate advice too, because that's what Pat and I do. You know, guys, life can be tough. We can go through some things and struggle at times, but this is the show to let you know that you're not alone. So if you're someone out there going through any of these things, this is the show for you. Shout out to our friends at NeuroGum for keeping us energized and focused. NeuroGum is a chewing gum. They've also got some mints that have caffeine, L-theanine, and B vitamins in there. It helps with memory and focus. I really chew it all the time. When I'm out showing houses with clients, especially in the late afternoons. And if I don't want to grab another coffee or energy drink, I just pop a piece of NeuroGum and helps me, kind of get through the day. And lately I've been, working out in the evenings too. And instead of taking any high stimulant pre-workout, I'll just chew a piece of NeuroGum. Kind of gets me to where I need to be. So get out there and try some NeuroGum.
Also, a quick shout out to the folks over at Captain Beard Co. And for those of you who don't know, I am the folks over at Captain Beard Co. We are a men's grooming company where we have beard butters, beard balms, beard oils, face and beard washes. They're all minimal products made by hand right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're trying to find a company that's small, up and coming, and actually does what it's advertised to do, our products will leave you looking clean, feeling clean, smelling good. And more than anything else, you can know you're supporting a good blue collar company from a small town here in the middle of Missouri. Like I said, we make everything by hand and we want to introduce you to a better version of you. So give us a check out our website, check out our Instagram. We would love to help you.
And now we can introduce our awesome guest today. He is a husband, a father, a real estate broker, the operator of Main and Market.
Yes.
The great and powerful Adam Mueller.
What's up? Boys?
Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, by the way, I've always wanted to ask you where did the name come from?
Yeah,
Main and Market.
Okay.
It's a great real estate name. By the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, every major city has a Main Street and a Market Street, right? So
okay.
Main Street's going to be sometimes your blue collar or it basically separates my whole exact. Not good at this, bro.
That's okay.
Yeah, you can pitch your shit. I can't pitch my own.
I mean, dude, it took me a minute. Yeah.
No, so Main Street, Market Street, right? So I worked from St. Charles County, St. Louis City, right? So Main Street, St. Charles, Market Street City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That was kind of the thought behind it, is like, who's my market? Who do I serve? Because I'm all over the place, right? Like I grew up in St. Charles. I lived in Baldwin, Maplewood, South City, over in West End. Like I've been all over, right? So I have spheres and people in different areas, right?
Yeah, no, it's like a great name. When I heard it, I was like, oh, that's like such a classy, it just sounds professional, and
I definitely think classy.
Yeah,
when I hear
very classy, Main and Market.
That, and I tried to make the logo just crisp and clean.
Yeah, right? No, it's great. I love it.
Idea behind the branding. I didn't want the classic roof pitch.
Yeah, you don't want to be Aaron's real estate team.
Well, and that was the other thing, is like I thought about it from a growth perspective, which I haven't done a lot of focus on growth, just with growth of my family, right? Mm-hmm. But like wanted to make it something that people would get excited about building their own business underneath it, right? Instead of Adam Mueller Real Estate. Like,
right.
Nobody wants to build up another person.
Exactly.
And I do see bigger teams that have done that. It becomes a revolving door sometimes. So.
Right. No, that's when I've kind of created mine, but I haven't, I'll be honest, haven't done much building on it. I've created key lock homes, and I'm kind of doing the same thing that you are, but I just didn't want to do, the Vegas real estate team. It just sounds so it's
cliche.
It's cliche.
Well, just fucking egomaniac.
Yeah, and just get my cheesy face on a billboard or something. Exactly. I just never been super into that. So.
Well, I also think it's easier to build a brand. Like you're building a brand around that instead of, and then you're tied to that brand instead of, like you said, Vegas real estate team. It's hard to brand that.
Right.
I don't know. I just think it's easier to brand Main and Market
or
key lock properties.
As you bring, say you go out and you find somebody that's talented, as you bring them up and they start building their own business, they're not going to look at it from building this guy's name, right?
Yeah.
You can create your own team underneath the team, right? That was the thought process about it from the jump.
But anyway, yeah, let's just kind of get your story, Aaron. Where where'd you grow up? What was it like? How'd you get into real estate? Just get your origin story here.
Pretty humble beginnings. We grew up out in North St. Charles County, out north of O'Fallon, a small town called St. Paul.
Okay.
Familiar?
Heard of that? Yeah.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, growing up, it was farm community, right? Like it was now what you see in like O'Fallon, it exploded in growth, and like what was a 2-way road is now Highway K, right?
Okay.
So crazy. I've saw the whole thing explode in the early 2000s. Went from I forgot what the population was, like 30,000 to 100 and almost 200,000 people, like in a couple years. Like it was just bananas. So that's where we grew up. One of 5 kids, youngest of 5. My old man, he hard worker, man. His dad died when he was very young, so he went straight into the workforce. Didn't have a ton of opportunity. He was one of 8 kids. So he's basically helping his mom, right? So he worked 50, 60, 70 plus hours a week at any given time. So growing up, one single income household, he worked for a brake pad manufacturer.
Okay.
Yeah. So very blue collar, hard work. Dude's hands were fucking asbestos splinters growing up. You'd shake his hand. You're like, fuck, dude. Yeah. So he was just kind of a hard nosed dude. But yeah, growing up, man, it was like me and my brothers. And I had some good friends down the street that you'd have to ride your fucking bike to because nobody was close to you. Lived on Anchorage, and just good spot, man. Grew up just a good quality of life. Didn't want for much. My parents always minimal amount of money we had. They spread it out well. Hand me down city. I had all my,
you being the youngest. Yeah.
all my brothers busted ass GI Joes and shitty clothes and that fun stuff. So yeah. And then growing up, man, my sister was in real estate and she crushed it. She was like pre-collapse, pre-08 collapse. So she was doing great, making great 6-figure money, killing it. I always watched her kind of growing up. I would stuff her envelopes and help her with stuff. And
how much older is she than you?
She's 53, so 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what sparked the interest in real estate. And then I went away to SEMO. We talked about that. Yeah. And then I graduated May of 08. The job market was fucking booming. Yeah. If you remember.
Yeah. And then
dude, you couldn't get a job. Like there was people that had higher level positions, taking entry level positions just to stay in the organization, right? Yeah. Like you had to have an elite resume to land
where
any
the
kind of
masters became a thing.
Correct. So yeah, man, job market was trash. I got out, got my real estate license right away, October of 08.
Okay.
But I didn't go full time till 13. We talked about bartending, just doing odds and ends stuff just to make ends meet. I was living with a buddy on his couch and like doing with my life. I just spent all this money on school.
College.
Yeah, dude, it was like, oh my God. So then 13 rolled around. I finally started getting my groove in real estate, and that's when I pulled the plug on everything else and just went all in.
All in.
Yeah.
So when you first started, and this is, I always like to kind of hear how people start. Like when you first started in real estate, did you join a team? Like what'd you do?
So I joined this insanely small company. It was like this dude in his house, right? It was really dumb. In hindsight, I would have not gone that route. But he was like the first guy I met in real estate. A buddy of mine also was licensed with him, so it was like an easy in. Mm-hmm. Super cool dude, and I still have a lot of respect for him. He's still out there. But it just, in hindsight, I wouldn't have went that route. So my friend and I that worked there, we left there, and we went to work for a small brokerage again. But then we had 2 mentors, not going to name drop people, but they had a call center essentially. I mean, that was how I learned the business, dude. So it was like
cold calling, bro.
Yeah, it was like 10,000 stomped on, just the worst fucking lead you could ever acquire, right? Like these people have been called. You would go through the notes and there's just scrolling from like years of calls. Yeah,
no answer, no answer,
dude,
no answer,
all day.
Yeah.
So that was So that's how I learned the business, man. I was making 70 cold calls a morning every day,
bro. That was I did very similar.
The fact that I was actually pulling some pieces out of it, and people were like, "Getting business out of that, man." And so
it's supposed to be busy work.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I got really comfortable cold calling, and then that turned into, I don't like working with all these cold leads anymore. I'm going to start focusing on my people that know me and like me, and I've built my business up enough to where I feel like I have a reputation now where they might trust me, you know?
Yeah.
I think I always had that fear at the beginning, was like, nobody's going to trust me. I'm brand new. I'm fresh out of college. I don't even own a house. I'm living with my buddy. Like, who's going to give me the right to help them? Right. So,
well, yeah, when you first start in the real estate industry, and I was telling, I went and had coffee with a friend yesterday. She's in the process of getting her license. And, you know, and I was like, man, you know, I hate to, you know, say this, but it is kind of like this for most agents. I mean, really pretty much anybody when they start, at least from what I've seen, is it's really a lot of faking it till you make it. You know, it's like
For sure.
that first couple years, like you're really figuring it out, you know.
Yep.
I'm 5 years in, and I still come across shit that I'm like, oh man, I've never seen that before. That's a new one, you know.
You know, I had that conversation yesterday. I was like, I've been in this business a long time. This is a new feather, right?
Yeah.
Like it's still happening. I'm doing it full time for 11 years, right?
Yeah.
So,
Dude,
That's the thing is every transaction is so different. Every person is
sure.
different. Every house is different. Everything. It's just, you know, you might get a few that are similar, but for the most part, they're all different. Oh, I see it on my side all the time.
and the agent on the other side is different. They're you don't know who their home inspector is. Like there's so many variables every
their
single
title
time.
company.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
It's like, dude, there's so many different things. There's no deal ever looks the same.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in it for a while, so you've seen multiple different types of markets.
Yep.
You know, what are some of the things what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen since you got in the business?
Well, I mean, in 08, that was when everything collapsed. So it was like, I hadn't seen a normal transaction, like a normal buyer to seller transaction it was like almost 2 years. It was short sales or foreclosures. That was it. I only helped people purchase at that time. So I was helping people through short sales and foreclosures only. And this guy, one time we rode on a short sale. That's how screwed up things were back then, is like it took 6 months to get lien holder approval, and they didn't approve it. They raised the price on a 70 grand, which he couldn't qualify for. So we sat there for 6 months waiting. Like that was this kind of stuff that was happening back then. So it was ridiculous. You'd waste all this time and just get shit on by the bank, right?
Short sales are a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I've done two.
I've done one.
I've done two. The shortest one took 9 months. The longest one was a year and a half.
So that was how I learned that's what I learned the business on. So it was like, this is real estate. Like this is bullshit.
Yeah.
This sucks.
So that was like your first 2 years, and then you know you get into like 2011 or so, things kind of started
normalizing a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, I've just seen everything, right? Like as far as buyers markets, sellers markets go. So, I mean, I've been in those situations where it's a strong buyer's market and you're beating the hell out of sellers and like your buyers love you for it. And then flip side where
we've been since, you know, I mean, the whole time I've been in the business, you know,
yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, man,
like
the last 5 years,
I've never known a normal market,
Yep.
you know, like it's the only thing I've ever known is, you know, I got in the business and I got my license right before COVID, you know, in September of 19, and then didn't really like start doing anything until like the beginning of 2020. And then, you know, I was still working in restaurants, and then in March of 2020, everything shut down, and then I was like, all right, I guess let's try this real estate thing full time.
Yeah,
and
man.
I never really went back. So
that was the whole, for people that had been established prior to COVID, I think that was like crazy too, right? Like I woke up one morning, I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess business is done. Like,
yeah,
what do I do?
People
now?
are still buying
yeah,
houses.
Nobody's
or
buying
like the
houses.
world's shut down.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like, yeah.
And then the next week it was like, okay, we can do virtual showings.
Yeah, and then
we got
interest rates are, you know, and then
we got to wear 5 masks and put gloves and shoe covers on.
Next thing you know, you're standing in line outside of a house, one at a time.
Yeah. Like it's a line at Six Flags.
And then you got 50 offers on a house like literally a year later. It was the craziest transition I've ever seen in anything. So
yeah, it was wild. And then, you know, that on top of it, the interest rates being what they were, and you know, it's just
well, and then the other transition of rates going from the threes, 4s, 5s to all of a sudden 7, 8.
Yeah, that's like right when I bought this
just
thing.
Tank.
Yes. Yeah, and then it was like super slow for a couple months, and then all of a sudden it like started picking back up again.
It's just kind of normalized to it now. So
it's just normal life now. Yeah, I mean, because that was when it was 22. It was like middle of 22 when they all jumped.
Yeah, we started really seeing them spike. I'd say July, August of 22 is when we really started to see things. It's when inflation was just going through the freaking and rates just kept going up and up and up. And I'm sitting there looking.
I was gonna say, man, from your perspective, you had to be shitting your fucking pants.
The amount of people like I would pre-approve, and then I was having to pre-approve people every week. Like the amount of extra work that I had to do, because like I'd be talking to them and rates were at say 6%, and then the very next week they're at 7, and I'm
kick them out of that price point.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So now I got to redo this, and I mean I will say it made me change the way I did it. Cause I was like, whenever I pre-approve people, like they're not seeing this, but I'm working it up at like an 8% interest rate.
Yeah.
And then when I'm
working backwards.
working backwards. Yeah. So it's just adapting.
For you to be able to tell somebody, oh yeah, you're approved at 400, and then
Right.
oh, now you're approved at 300. Those
Right.
are totally different houses,
Dude,
right? And
100%.
especially in this market, man. Like buying a $300,000 house is a piece of shit now for some
Sure.
reason,
Well,
which is
yeah.
crazy.
And it changed the way that I approached my applications. So like before, I would go through the applications and ask them all these questions, kind of get to know them and all that. But I added an aspect to it now that's kind of really changed it. So that helps in terms of pre-approving them instead of like, hey, figuring out their max and working backwards. I'm finding out, all right, well, what's your goal monthly payment?
Yeah.
And then what's the goal purchase price that you're shooting for? Most of the time, those things don't match up. So when I sit down and do a consultation with them, I'm able to show them like, hey, but I'm also able to show them like, most of the time people qualify for way more than what their purchase price that they're looking at is.
Sure.
So that's eliminated a lot of that stuff too. So that's helped a lot. It's just, adapting and changing and making sure you're staying up with it just so you're not getting caught with your pants down because rates change quickly.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. And luckily they've been kind of flat for the last 6 months. I mean, you might see some like a week or two where they're lower or a week or two where they're higher, but for
nothing drastic.
Yeah. For the main part, they've been, high 6s to low 7, so and that's just kind of where we're at. I do think we'll start to see some drops now that employment's getting worse and inflation's still coming down. So we'll see. But hey, you mentioned too, I'm sure, because you've been in it for so long, you've got a lot of these move up buyers. They're probably going to love you now. Like, yeah, you just beat those down when I bought my house. Now you're making me more money. You're looking like a rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure. No, it's I think the last couple years I really went through a big swing of up people. So that was like, I've learned a lot, especially in that market where you had to buy first. You couldn't be contingent on a home sale.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't.
I mean, you still can't.
No, it wasn't a thing though in 21. Like you
no way.
you were a laughing stock if you thought that was an option.
Hilarious.
It was like,
yeah.
So you had to figure it out, and whether it was like putting people in situations where like, hey, I know we can sell your house, right? Like I need you to trust me here. So we need to go get pre-approved, go buy, and then
we're just listing.
Yeah, we're listing that same day.
Yes. The second you're under contract, like that was my
gone.
move. I was like, we got to let's get the pictures. Let's get everything like boom, ready to go. And like,
so I can flick active.
Yes.
And
The second you're under contract, we're going on the market the next day.
Yep.
I did
100%.
that. That was the move. I mean, because it's like you said, a home sale contingent is just not an option. It's not going to happen.
Oh,
I mean, what are your guys' perspective on this? Because I've talked to clients too, and and we've had the conversations like, well, what if I list my house, go under contract, and then go and write? I'm like, honestly, that's going to be your safer move.
It is,
but
yeah.
At that point,
But and you're just on such a time crunch.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's what it's because I hate that's what I always say. It's like, we can do that, but
But as a seller though, you've got more control of that, so you can ask these buyers you can really ask the buyers to do whatever and be like, hey, I want to push this out 90 days. Obviously, if I get under contract, we can move that closing date up to match it.
Yeah.
I've done that, and I haven't had success with it because I found that people rushed their purchases. I've had a couple people reach out to me just this past year that I helped buy in like 22, and they're like, we hate this fucking house. Like there's this and this and this wrong with it. Like I wouldn't have bought this. And like, they weren't mad at me.
Right.
They were mad at the situation that they felt forced. And they also paid tip top dollar.
Of course, they probably paid
so it's
anywhere
like,
from 10 to 15%
like,
over list price.
Even 2 years later, you don't have a boatload of equity to like get it moved and do
I've
something
had a
else
lot of
with it.
that.
So it's like, those are the conversations that suck right now.
What about those clients that you put in early in your career that are in the same home that might have those lower rates? I mean, are you getting a lot?
They're not moving.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've talked to people this year that are like, bro, I got a 3. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm not going
just
anywhere.
kind of stuck.
Because it's like if they were to move up, then whatever they're going to purchase.
Yeah, I'm buying down or making a parallel move
Right.
for a higher payment. Stupid.
Yeah, it doesn't make much
sense.
sense at all. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's where I think it's like, I don't know if this was a couple months ago I saw this, but it was like 60% of the country has below a 4% interest rate.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why, the market is what it is right now.
I also am scared of like the institutional investors, man.
Bro,
BlackRock.
Oh, it's
The
insane.
$60 billion they raised to buy single family homes.
Yeah.
Not just
Right.
residential living, like single family homes specific. So think about it. If they're ticking up 30% of the market every year,
Yeah,
people need to be
people are going to
thinking,
get bought
We'll be a
out.
nation
people
of
need to be,
renters.
people need to be thinking right now, like, there's not going to be houses when our kids are trying.
I know.
Like, there's not even going to be houses.
That's
right?
the thing, is almost like sellers and all that need to kind of, if there's a way to boycott that, if they get an offer for something like that, like just not sorry, say no.
You'd like to, but then if you're in a situation where you don't have a lot of offers and you got a clean cash offer and they're willing to close in a week and that's appealing to you, like,
Right. I know that's tough.
It's hard to be like, oh,
I know.
I don't want to feed the machine, right? But it's like,
but it's like that machine. It's got a pretty good.
yeah,
offer.
they're feeding me.
They're
right?
feeding me.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, well, now have you? Because I haven't experienced this. At least I don't think I have had any, like, other than like dealing with like offers from like OfferPad and what's the other one, Open Door and stuff like that. I haven't had any like.
They suck.
Like,
Yeah, they've been.
I've done
terrible.
many of them, but they do suck.
They've been terrible interactions. that
Yes,
I've had.
they're never great.
No.
It's like I always
Can't
say,
get a hold of anybody.
Yeah, I always say it's
Just-
like buying a house from the customer service department. At Walmart.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Dude,
what it's
that's
like.
it,
That's
yeah.
it. And
For
and,
sure.
You know, people. I've had clients like, oh, why is this one sitting on the? Why hasn't this one been on the market for so long? It looks like it's nice, and it seems like it's, you know, I'm like, because nobody wants to deal with, you know,
Open Door.
Open
right?
Door. It
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
For sure.
Yeah,
Well,
I
they
mean,
just put some shitty grade carpet in and give it a coat of paint and
Right.
call it good and try to get
Top dollar.
yeah, like of over market value. It's like
right. Yeah,
right.
they come out way too hot on the list price, and then it just sits there.
well, and it's like that one that I sent you that you guys turned into a subject to.
Oh yeah.
This
That's
was
my home run,
was a
man.
past client of mine, and he bought in 21
Mhm.
and had like a 2.75% interest rate. And
2.76 actually, because I
yeah.
still own the house.
Yeah.
if you want to get technical.
If you want to get technical,
Yeah.
So-
that's what I have on it.
So he got relocated up to Minnesota, and he called me, and because he's like, hey man, thinking about selling my house. He's like, does this sound right? And it was an offer from Open Door. And I was like, well, what are
No.
what are they? No, that's the thing. And he was telling me they offered him this much, but then they were going to charge him this much in fees, to where he was only netting like, what was it, like
$6,000.
$6,000?
Yeah. So so that's when he calls me and is like, hey, you should go. You know, you should go talk to this guy and see
About listing
about
it.
listing it.
Yeah.
And so I went over there and I called him, went over there, and you know, he's a real nice guy. Typical like lacrosse player, you know, and I go inside and the house is just filthy, you know,
Yeah.
like you totally living like a college bro.
Was it worse than Larry?
Bro City.
No,
No,
it was
no Larry.
definitely better than Larry. That was a different story. I could tell you that.
I won't see
I
where
don't
this
have any
one goes.
reference point there.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Sure.
But no, anyway, I go in and it's like, it's just a mess. It's like, you know, there's a treadmill in the dining room, dumbbells everywhere. There's like a pile of shoes like in the living room that's like 4 feet high. You go into one of the bedrooms, he's got like the TV or like the coffee table like pulled up right to the TV, clearly where he's playing video
Yeah.
games. You go into the bathroom, there's just fucking hair everywhere, and and I'm thinking I'm gonna list. I'm thinking we could probably list it for about, you know, probably get about 10 grand more than what Open Door
Yeah.
was saying, until I went in there and saw it, and he was. And,
But
and
you have to get everything out of here.
exactly, and he was like, dude, I
And he's on a
gotta.
time crunch.
Yeah, and he's like, I gotta close. He's like, I
I
gotta close in 3 weeks. They're gonna pay me $6,000, and I don't have to do anything. Like, I'm totally cool with that. If you can beat that, then I'll take it. And I said, so I the day before I went on a listing appointment with my investor buddy, and he pitched buying this house from these people subject to.
Yeah.
And I had heard of subject to. I'd listened to a couple podcasts on it. You know, follow Pace Morby on Instagram,
Mhm.
and you know, but I had never heard it be pitched the way that my buddy did it. And so I was like, well, fuck it. Let me just rip this out of here and see if I can kind of, you know, say what he said yesterday, because it just made way more sense. So I was like, all right, well, they're going to give you $6,000. I was like, how about I write you a check right now for $7,000 and you deed the house to me and I just continue to pay your mortgage. And he's like, that sounds easier. Let's just do that. Let's do that. And I was like, okay. And
like, shit, I didn't expect that.
yeah, no, I totally didn't. I totally didn't. And he like totally agreed to it. And, you know, and that's what we did. And I still own that house today. And so we have a house with bought it for $7,000 with a 2.76% interest rate on it.
It's beautiful.
And it's, you know, great little house in South City. And me and my buddy, we bought it together and we furnished it, and I rented out midterm rental for
Doing midterm.
$2,200 a month.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's been great. Other than right now, we're having a little bit of a water issue in the basement, but which
I think everybody
I think
is,
everybody is right
unfortunately.
now with these monsoons we've had the last couple days.
Dude, I was literally checking the weather yesterday, and this cloud just didn't move 6 hours. It's just over St. Louis, just chilling.
Just chilling.
It's like, what the
Dude,
fuck?
it rained all like the last 2 days. It just did nothing but rain.
No,
It
I had
sucked.
photo shoots yesterday, and my guy's like, sure about this? I was like, we got to do it.
We got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Photoshop the rain out.
yeah,
Right?
make it look pretty, and
Yeah.
maybe come back tomorrow, do the
Edit.
exterior
Yeah.
photo or something.
Yeah.
Edit it. We got this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So do you do any real estate investing?
Very little as of
Okay.
right now. I have 2 rentals, and I had an Airbnb in Central West End. I sold that to invest in another opportunity that I had. And so I was talking to Zach about it. I wanted to get back into it and start focusing on it a little more. Because I do want to exit strategy, right? Like I feel like this is the rat race, you know.
Dude,
It's
we're
like-
on a transaction treadmill, bro.
and that's it. And I like as much as I love that, and it gets me
Drives me,
me
man.
going, gets me revved up. But at the
But
same
doing it for the
token-
next 25 years sounds fucking exhausting.
Exactly.
Right.
I just turned 40, and I don't want to be doing this when I'm 60. Right.
Yeah.
I have phone calls with agents that they sound like my grandfather or something. It's
Mhm.
like, I'm not doing that. So you gotta find that exit strategy. So that's really where I'm gonna start shifting my focus is keep my retail business going. I have a great list of past clients, people that love me, trust me, know me, want to support them and help them in their goals, and then start focusing on my own.
What are some of your goals?
I want to have $10,000 of
Residual.
residuals.
Yeah.
That's my first goal, and then build off of that.
Dude, that's a great goal to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, you're at the you've been in it long enough, and I'm finally starting to experience it. You know, being 5 years in, I'm finally starting to get like all these just referrals and past clients, and having a lot of turnover. You know, people that I helped them purchase in 2020. Now I'm helping. They bought the house. They've had a kid. They need to buy a bigger house, and you know, so I'm starting to get a lot of that, and I'm starting to experience that. You know, those move up buyers, and it's been great.
Yeah,
It's definitely, this is like the first year that have had more listings than buyers, and it's been it's just a kind of a big shift.
well, yeah. I mean, your time and
Mm.
your everything you have into it it's just easier, and especially with you with small kids too,
Mhm.
right? Like you're getting
Yes.
some of your weekends back. You're starting to
Exactly.
see a little more freedom versus
Mhm. Like
shuffling
I
buyers
was
all
explaining
weekend.
it to that girl yesterday that I had coffee with. I was like, you know, like buyers are more work, are more like time, but like I think sellers are a little bit more like stress.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
like you know, because when people are buying a house, it's like such a happy time. You
It's
know,
it's
like we're-
super rewarding
Or-
at the end.
Yeah, it's
and
like, oh, we bought our first house. It's it's awesome. We love it. But like a lot of times when you're selling it, there's a reason, you know, like I've had a couple of them this year where it was mom passed away. We had to sell the house, or it's a divorce,
Big
or
D.
it's a this.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of that. But you know, sometimes you get that double on the back end, which I've been able to get a couple times,
Sure.
like once, which was cool. But you know, it's just there's always a reason, and there's a lot more stress associated with it because you got a bunch of people in their house, and you're kind of responsible, sort of. You know, it's just like it can be stressful for sure.
Yep.
But you know, it's just comes with the territory. You
Yep.
know, different.
And then we got a whole bunch of new changes coming too.
Yeah. Have you experienced any of that yet? Like
I've gotten some pushback. I got a guy
From a seller?
yeah,
They wanted
a
to
couple
pay,
people
didn't
that
want to pay out of
didn't
buyout?
know, they didn't want to list until all this stuff happened.
Okay.
All this stuff meaning interest rate
Commission.
No, all
No.
of our the new changes coming from that big settlement.
There's-
court
So-
case you were
yeah, there's
reporting on a while ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there was a big, you know, court case basically on, you know, real estate agents commission and the decoupling of the buyers and sellers commission. So
Seller's no longer required to pay the buyer's agent.
Well, we can't market a payout to a buyer. So what that's going to look like is the MLS. If you go on there right now, my buyer wants to see 5 houses. I pull them all up. I can see what they're paying out prior to going to the showings. Whereas now we're not going to know.
Right.
There's going to be a document. It's so stupid. Like we're going to have to jump through 5 hoops to have the same information. And it's
like, I just got to call this agent.
I got to call this agent and ask him, hey,
Are you paying me?
You going to pay? Yeah. You guys going to pay me? It's like, I talked to my buyer. They don't want to pay me. So
Yeah. So like, yeah.
yeah. So what I think is going to happen is buyers, it's just going to be part of the conversation now is, hey, you're going to be responsible for a portion of the commission. My goal is always going to be to have your back and negotiate it the best I can to where we minimize that, but there's going to be some out of pocket expense. Like that's just going to be the cost to do a business moving forward. I think so.
That's what I've been doing. I've just been having that, you know, I haven't really come across it yet, you know, at least any, I haven't had that. Well, I did have a conversation with 2 of my sellers, and, you know, they ended up deciding to pay out a buyer's agent commission after I, you know, kind of explained to them, like, this is what it's going to look like if we don't. And, and then I've been having that conversation with buyers on the front end. They're like, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And, just letting you know that we may come across some listings that you guys want to see, and they may or may not pay out a buyer's agent commission. And if that's the case, I need to be paid for my time. So,
Yep.
It's got to come from you.
For sure.
It's just another conversation that we need to have. So,
And the sellers that want to pay out zero, they're going to do
hurting
themselves such a disservice.
oh,
absolutely.
100%.
I mean,
And that's what I told her. I was like, we can. It's totally up to you, but like, I wouldn't advise it. It's going to make your house a lot more difficult to sell.
well, yeah, when representing a buyer, that's the immediate conversation you have to have. Like that sets the tone for going to that house, right? It's like, you got to pay me for this house.
Yeah, this house is going to cost you an extra, 2.5%,
That's-
or 3%, whatever it is.
So that's going to set the tone, right? And when you
Mhm.
walk in, if they don't love it, then it's
I'm out of
just
here.
gonna
This is
shoot-
going to
yeah.
cost me an extra 10 grand or
exactly
whatever. Like,
the one down the street. I don't have to pay any commission on. I got to pay. Yeah, exactly.
No way.
So,
So it's going to be some new water.
what's up with the VA?
They've changed. They've conformed to Fannie, Freddie, and FHA guidelines.
Okay.
They're good. Yeah, it's temporary until they can figure out a permanent fix, but they're allowing it.
Okay.
They're allowing buyers to pay.
Buyers
for
to pay.
Good. I mean, it suck if it didn't. I mean,
VA.
really.
Yeah, I mean they've already got a hard enough time already.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate, and but yeah, I mean they're gonna follow.
I was going to say, if anything, they need to make VA buyers they need to give them more power, man. Like
They deserve it.
they get shit on, and like going into multiple offer situations with the VA
They
buyer,
always get
you're
thrown
like,
at the bottom.
hey, bro, you're going to lose like 5 houses before we get one.
Well,
I want to prep you.
So let me ask you guys, as agents, what is it about the VA, a veteran coming in buying that worries you guys as a
listing
agents? Yeah.
So predication work, their sellers got to pay the termite inspection, which isn't the big $75.
Not
Yeah,
anymore.
whatever, right?
Not anymore.
You don't have to anymore?
Nope.
Okay. When did that change?
2 years ago, year ago.
You must not
mean,
do a lot of VA.
I'll be
been
honest.
recently.
As a lender, my job is to represent the buyers. So
Right.
and
And mostly predication work, right?
Yeah. So that's
and-
changed too.
And from a financing perspective, like if somebody's putting 80% down or 50% down versus 100% financed VA loan, like those people look stronger on paper. They may not be, right? But
Right, because with a VA, if they're not
Right.
putting anything down, then they get to keep all their money. But
exactly.
yeah,
They have way less skin in the game, typically smaller earnest money deposits, those kinds of things.
Well, that's the one thing that I've talked to my VA buyers about is one, make you look better, put a larger earnest money amount.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get that money back.
Yep.
If you're not putting it down, you don't have to put a down payment down. That's the great thing about it. But the one thing you mentioned, predications, a lot of that's changed. They're still going to go after the peeling paint, which if
Yeah.
you're selling a house for top dollar, odds are there's probably no peeling paint.
Sure.
There could be, but that's very minimal, easy fix, right? That's really, and if it'll pass an occupancy inspection, VA is not going to have an issue with it. You're going to be okay. So a lot of that stuff's changed. I know with the appraisal process, I mean, for a long time, they wouldn't leave the subdivision. They'd go back 2 years to find a house that's
stay
sold.
in the subdivision.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. They'll, as long as they're in the same zip code school district, they'll be good. They've changed their process for appealing appraisals. It's still, it's tough, but it does happen. I've had a few that I've appealed and won on. But at the same time, the one good thing is a lot of my VA buyers, they have money. They can put money down. Like I just talked to one yesterday, and guy's got $50,000 in the bank. If he wanted to put a down payment, like he's looking FHA or he's looking VA or conventional, he wants to know. And so if it doesn't appraise, okay, that's what. Now they have a down payment. Usually these things they're not off by 20, 30,000. They're off by 5, 10, and he would have the money for the down payment without really hurting himself. So a lot of my VA buyers are some of the best buyers. Plus they're the easiest loans to get through. Like their guidelines to do a VA home loan are super simple. And that's what when I have buyers, I always tell me, when you submit an offer, let me know so I can call the listing agent and talk to them about this so they can understand like VA loans are hands down the easiest loans to get through.
Right.
Easy. So if it comes down to financing and trying to figure out, conventional versus VA, I'm going to push my guys to VA every single time just because of how easy it is to get that loan approved versus a conventional loan or FHA or anything like that. And that's the thing that I try to educate listing agents on, just so
that's what is needed,
Right.
honestly. Because from my perspective,
right.
the best offer is the best offer. At the end of the day, it's all cash, right?
Right.
So if if I can have a conversation with their loan officer and I feel confident after speaking with them that these people are solid, I don't care if it's conventional FHA or VA, right?
Right.
Mhm.
But that's not the case with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it usually boils down to, or why VA always kind of gets the, it is the
It used to be.
predications,
It used to be shit. I get it.
Well, but it's just the problem is when you're pinned up against 5 other offers and the other 4 are conventional, and you're like, oh well, this one we don't have to worry about these 4 conventional offers, we don't have to worry about any predications or any issues there. It's just something we don't have to worry about at all. That's kind of where I think.
And from experience, when you're walking through houses, when there's like some issues, right? Like this deck's a piece of shit, and it's going to come up on something, right? Like that's when you can kind of
But if you got a house that you're selling that is going to sell quick and top dollar, and there's no issues, a VA offer is not a terrible offer at all.
No, I agree.
And a lot of people don't know, and I don't know if anybody's talked to you about the appraisal process for like with conventional loans. So a lot of this, I learned this back in 2021 when we started seeing people paying out the ass above sales price for homes, and we're getting these appraisals back. And the next thing you know, our underwriters are like, yeah, this appraisal needs to go for a review called a CDA. It came back with a really high SSR score. I'm like, what the fuck is an SSR score? And they're like, so Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac since 2008 have collected every appraisal on every home ever done across the nation. They have a database of all this. So this is how we get appraisal waivers. So they know the value of every home within a certain range.
Yep.
And if someone writes an offer and they're putting 20% or more down and that house falls within that range, we don't have to get an appraisal. They grade these appraisals on scores from 1 to 5, 1 being the most accurate, 5 being highly inaccurate. And I have more issues with conventional loans because with the FHA and VA, we still have to submit them to the VA or to Fannie Mae and Freddie. But they don't care about the score. So we could get an appraisal back with a score of 5. VA, FHA they don't care. But with conventional, I've got this going on right now. We had to submit it for a CDA. So this CDA reviews the appraisal. The appraiser has to answer the questions that they're proposing to him and why he gave it that, and he has to back it. Now, I've been through 6 of them, and all 6 have been approved. But that appraiser now has to go through and back why he's giving that. And then that board has to come back and say, okay, we approve it. And it could add an extra week of time to it. But we don't worry about that on our government loans, only on conventional. We haven't seen it much lately, but 2021, that was a pain in the ass.
Oh, yes.
And, we're still seeing some of it here, but most of our appraisals now
cause like loans getting moved.
Right. Like and pushing closings and things like that. And that's stuff that a lot of obviously, I know loan officers are like, what the hell's an SSR report? Because they've never had to deal with it. But in 2021, I had 5 in 2021.
Right.
And it was just it was new to me. And I'm like, oh shit. I should know, I need to know this. So, it's one of those things we got that appraisal back on that manufactured house. I'm kind of
I just had a shitty one this morning. I got to figure that out this afternoon.
We had two coming over.
Yeah.
2 days in a row.
Right. Well,
over?
Nice.
Yeah,
2 of them.
nice.
And one was a manufactured home. Manufactured home's going for $300,000 now. You gotta be
That's what I was talking about.
I'm like, fuck.
You go to 4 to 3, man. You're buying a manufactured
right.
home.
That's where we're at. It's insane.
It's got a big ass detached garage. It's on like an acre and a half.
It's a newer manufactured home, 2019. Great shape.
Nothing
very
wrong with
nice. No, nothing at all. No, especially these new ones.
Yeah.
The house inside is sick.
Yeah.
It looks very nice.
Yeah. And it has this beautiful large detached garage, which
that
was a new one for me because that's the most I've ever seen them give an accessory unit. So any secondary big unit on the house or big garage or anything like that's considered an accessory unit. Usually we're seeing 10, maybe 15,000 given to it. They gave him $20,000 for this. And I'm like, all right, that's pretty, that's pretty good. I've never seen anything go up that high.
Pretty bitch outbuilding.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's sweet. It's
a
badass.
Massive garage. It's awesome.
You can fit, and he had this badass old El Camino in there.
Really?
And it's like one that he takes to car shows, and you could tell it's his own. It's the only thing in the garage.
That's where that dude gets a question. Does the car come with the sale?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But yeah, people don't shy away from manufactured homes. They're great.
And
people think they're tough. They do have slightly higher rates that go with it, but ultimately, they've come a long ways. They're not
Yeah,
What-
this deal is
No,
definitely
sure.
changing my view on them. For sure.
No, I said that jokingly.
Oh yeah, no, but like I said, I mean,
I just meant from like it's crazy
It's
that
300
you should be
it's-
able to buy that for 150.
no
right?
shit,
Right.
like brand new, like that was the thing because we were looking at it before they wrote on it, and I was like, oh, this is a Clayton. So
Yeah, I mean, we ended up getting it for
I-
what, $30,000 less than they were asking.
yeah,
right?
and I was like, and I wouldn't have appraised then.
No, I wouldn't have pressed
but
it.
but no, we pulled up the brand new from Clayton Homes, which is a big manufacturer home maker, and like this unit starting was like 180.
I think so, yeah.
Started at 180, and now obviously it's on what 4 acres.
No, it's like an acre and a half, I think.
I thought it was a little bigger than that.
Maybe
Maybe it's a different
two.
house. I'm thinking.
an acre and a half.
But anyway, yeah, big lot, but then it has this
Uh,
badass garage to it, and I was like, this guy's putting a lot of value on that garage that it's not going to. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no,
hey,
and you got
came
it,
back.
baby.
hey,
We
it
got
worked. Man. It was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, dude.
everybody was freaking out about that appraisal. I was like, it's like either way, I was like, we take it back to him. He's not going to want to go to the market knowing that the value is way less than what it is. Odds are he's going to compromise.
He's just going to compromise and come
Mhm.
you
down.
know, and or it appraises more. And guess what? You got equity. So
Yeah.
it's a win-win
Yeah.
situation for you guys.
It was awesome.
What does it cost to like be on the ground floor of like building a manufactured home? Like you're the first person who's going to live in it. What does that usually go for in today's market?
So
If there's a round figure.
So we used to have, or we in certain areas, which is crazy because our one of our loan officers in Farmington, Missouri, was the #1 USDA loan officer in the country for the amount of USDA loans they do. But they will not let us do USDA new construction or manufactured housing, which sucks because we're one of the largest USDA lenders in the nation. But we have other pockets around the country that do allow it. But I mean, so that house starting is 180. So obviously you go in and you can customize your upgrades on the inside depending on what you decide to upgrade in. I mean, you know, you could see, then you got to buy the lot and the land that it's going on. So, you know, what's the average lot price for an acre? What, 20 grand, depending on where you're at.
Depending on
Yeah,
location.
So,
Yeah.
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 I think I saw something online that showed an acre of land out in High Ridge for like 20 grand or something like that. So
Yeah.
20
Sounds
grand plus, say you go and you spec it out, it's 250. You're looking at 270 for a plot of land in a 3-bedroom, 2,100 square foot manufactured home.
2,100.
Big, yeah,
they're
it's
big.
nice. It's got this big like open kitchen.
It's about
and-
3 times. I mean, that's about double the price of my house and 3 times the size square footage. So
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to figure out financing for like barndominiums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've had so many different people
So
tell me they want to do
I
that.
know.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
like-
special
I'm like,
finance,
I'm like, I
special
don't-
financing and
don't
stuff
really
like
know
that.
how to
Between
do
that
it.
and storage units.
Yes.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
I
The amount of people that reach out to me about storage, I'm like, I don't
don't do that.
specialize
Sorry,
in
dude.
that. I got some people.
There's
But,
so much money to be
but- oh yeah.
that, and then like heavy machinery storage
Yeah.
spaces.
Yeah.
I've got
Like contractor storage
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I've got a family friend that was over in Columbia, Illinois, and they've got 2 massive lots that they do boats, RVs, heavy
Yeah.
farming machinery and
I got
stuff like that, and
got,
they fucking kill it.
If you go down 55 and past that place in Arnold,
Yep.
They murder it. That's,
Oh, I'm
I mean,
sure.
that's like,
right off the highway.
yeah, it's like
That's
multiple,
right across-
multiple acres and it's jam packed
It's-
with boats.
Right.
Like right across from that's right before the exit from my office. See it
And
every
I-
day. I'm like, fuck. God,
And I've heard
I want
people
that.
doing like luxury boat parking and stuff
like
like that. Where,
carport,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, you
Yeah.
pull in and it's like a whole experience. They got like bars set up in the back, like you can sit in there with your boat buddies and just have
Hang
cocktails.
tails
And,
and sit on the boat.
yeah, when you winterize your boat, I'm like,
Yeah. Kind of cool.
yeah,
Let's,
Yeah, buddy of mine.
let's go
that I
find
went
some
to-
land at the lake.
Well, that's what I was gonna
Right.
say. My buddy, he's a buddy I went to college with. He's got like 4 storage units, I think, last time I talked to him. And yeah, his first one, they literally just bought like a gravel parking lot with a barbed wire fence around it, Lake of the Ozarks, and they boat storage. Damn,
there you go.
pretty
Man.
sweet. Yeah,
Like, and then
because it's like no maintenance. That's
Yeah.
what I love about it. Having a handful of rental properties now, it's like those are the farthest thing from
Maintenance free.
passive income.
Yeah.
People like I love it when people tell me like, oh, I really want to get into real estate investing because I
Passive
want
income.
I want some passive income, and I'm like, Okay.
Get in line.
Yeah, I was like, me too. When does that happen? You know, when does that shit
Let me know
start?
when you find that shit.
Yeah. Because like the only passive income that I've ever seen or heard of in real estate is like you being a limited partner on like a syndication or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we had
Lee
in here. He's a kind of a mentor of mine. He's got like 900 something doors, and they just they buy
That's
nothing but apartment complexes and
Yeah.
stuff, and they do syndications, and they're always looking for investors and stuff. So I mean, now that would be something where you basically hand him money, and they kind of do it with they go do everything, handle everything, and then they just send you a check every month. Like that's
almost-
passive.
Get paid
you
like
know?
exit
Like a-
strategy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that sounds like a not a bad deal. I mean
Right.
yeah. So I mean I plan on going in on one of those eventually. That's definitely one of my goals.
syndication or REITs or whatever those are.
Yeah.
I guess they're pretty similar.
Yeah, I think so. I don't really know the difference.
I
to
guess
be
the
honest.
syndication's more private, where it's more of a public.
Yeah.
So
That
Can't
makes
you just
sense.
buy a REIT on like a stock trading platform?
I think so.
yeah, it's more publicly traded versus a syndication where it's privately held group of individuals.
The dividends are really high on it. So like the PDE ratio is usually fucking crazy.
So, but well,
Well-
let's learn a little bit more about you outside of work.
Yeah,
as
man.
As a father, as a husband.
Yep.
So-
Yeah. So met my wife. Dude, I was living in the Central West End, living in my best bachelor life, and dating this girl. That ended up getting pretty serious. I call her Looney Tunes now because she's fucking insane. She actually tried to kill me. That's a sidebar story.
Ooh.
So we'll
come back to
Yeah,
that,
we'll
please.
save that for later. But no, so trying to get her out of my condo at the time. Went to go meet a buddy for a beer. I was like, dude,
Yeah, get me out of here.
I gotta get the hell out of here. Come meet me. So we're sitting Retreat Gastropub. Shout out to Retreat.
Okay.
Met my wife there. So they have the U-shaped bar.
Yeah.
We're sitting directly across from each other. Mind you, I'm going through this crazy breakup, but like see this girl over here. I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful. And like we made awkward eye contact, like seriously like 200 times in the 3-hour span, I think. Didn't even talk to her. So time goes by, 6 months, finally get Psycho out of my house. Facebook's like, hey, here's somebody you might know. And it was her. And I had some brews with the homies, and I was like, going for it.
Add friend.
Shooting-
Liquid courage.
Shooting that shot.
Yeah.
So DMs, and that's all she wrote, man. Went on our first date. Did find out on our first date she's 10 years younger than me, which was like, at the time I was 35, so she's 25. I'm like, fuck, what do we have in common?
Yeah.
But we just hit it off, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we didn't waste any time, man. We got married quick, and then we had 3 boys in like a 9-month span. So yeah,
Twins,
got the
right?
buy one get one free special. Yeah, dude, I'll never go to the fucking. We go to the doctor, and it's our first ultrasound, and immediately, like, there wasn't even any question. There's 2 hearts, and I'm like, what the fuck? And she goes, you see what I see? We were like, yeah. And my wife, she starts crying. She's like, what the fuck? So like we weren't even like out
You
of
got the Michael Scott
postpartum with the
meme.
baby. Yeah, dude. It was
I am never going to financially recover from this.
100%, dude.
Or psychologically.
Yeah. More so that.
Well-
Yeah, because like I said, we were just figuring out how to be first time parents
Yeah.
with our little dude. And he's 9 months old.
Oh my God.
So like,
Double or nothing.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
We
so
were-
that was Levi's born in 21 and then the twins in 22. And yeah, man. So like trying to run a crazy real estate business and all that happening at the same
dude,
time.
Yeah.
We moved multiple times throughout that process too. It was like, I don't even know. Like, I feel like I'm just now like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like I look around and I'm like, I got all
There's
these
3 of them.
Yeah, I got all these boys. I got this new house. I don't even know where I'm
Had to
at.
get a new car.
Yeah,
so
dude.
with a third
Yeah.
row.
Yeah, we had to buy. It was, seriously, we had to get all new vehicles, a new house. Like we loved our house in St. Louis Hills, and the moment we found out we were having twins, we're like, we can't fucking live here anymore.
Yeah.
It's like it was already tight with Levi and the dog. I was like, dude, we gotta go.
Yeah.
And I had the kitchen down to studs. I was redoing the kitchen at the time, so I had the kitchen down to studs, and I'm
gosh.
like, so I put in this beautiful brand new kitchen. We didn't even cook anything in the fucking oven. Just pack it up.
Let's get the fuck out of
But
here.
it helped sell that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And we made all our money back. So it was all good.
Yeah.
No, so that's it, man. 3 boys. Levi just turned 3. Twins will be 2 in November. I'm at like that weird place where it's like I can't even go outside with them because the twins go different directions. Levi's just screwing around with trucks, but one of the twins is trying to run into the street. The other one's in the backyard, and I'm just like,
Yeah, dude, you're
dude,
you're out, man.
Yeah, yep. I'll kick
even when your wife's there, it's maintenance. I'm still out of man.
cut.
You got to play zone, bro.
Yeah,
Zone
for
now.
sure, for sure. Yeah,
You get the twins, I'll get the 3-year-old.
yeah. It's like I want to get you guys fresh air, but I can't. 'Cause you're assholes. I love
You're
you.
locked in this room.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's get in that dining room.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Open a window.
I shut the door to the back rooms and shut the door to the bathrooms because you know how that goes. Everything goes in the toilet.
Oh, it's his new Calvin's new thing is he likes. I want to play with the spinner, and he just goes and like spins the whole roll of toilet paper out. I'm like, oh,
You're playing with daddy's water bill. Stop
yeah,
it.
no, and it's just like spin the whole toilet paper out. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know how many. We have this stupid toilet paper holder that just like freestanding.
Yeah.
Just has little arms. They just pull it off and just put it in the toilet. The whole fucking roll.
I had the other day. I'm peeing at the door open. Calvin comes in and just like tries to like grab the stream. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, stop.
I know.
And I'm like trying
I
to
love
pee in the toilet while he's like trying to like grab it,
Dude.
slap at the stream. It's
The
peeing in, as I'm peeing into the toilet. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
Have you guys
twins do that?
Have you guys started potty training yet?
Yes. Oh, dude, he shit on the toilet the other day for
Did
the
he?
first time.
That's
Sweet.
awesome.
And it was just like a fucking fluke thing. And like,
Yeah.
you know, we
But
were
still.
not even like,
Hey man,
It-
win's a win.
Like-
yeah.
Exactly.
Gino is like, she goes, "Are you pooping?" He goes, you know, and she
Yeah.
goes, "All right, let's go to the bathroom right now." And we had the like little training toilet in
yeah.
there, and
Yeah,
you know,
just
she
kinda-
set him on there, and he actually like dropped a log in the toilet. We were like, yeah.
Yeah,
And
let's
so then
go.
the poop fairy came and brought him a new toy. So now he's trying to
Hell
get
yeah.
the poop fairy to come more.
Yeah.
So that's
Dude, I'm stealing that because Levi's just starting. We wanted to start him earlier, but he just
I'll tell you what,
we can get going.
the greatest trick. We had both the boys potty trained in a weekend, about a week. Just let them run around naked,
yeah,
just naked.
that's-
And
Josie said that this morning.
You
She's
might-
like, starting Friday, no diapers
Yeah.
until Monday.
yeah,
was
so
like,
it was just not even
Oh.
just.
Can I
straight-
leave for the weekend?
sure?
I've got showings
Yeah,
every
I'm
day
fucking
from 9
slammed
a.m.
all
until
weekend.
9 p.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. For real.
He's all yours, honey.
Yeah.
Y'all actually like you guys give your like kids options and sit. My grandma would just sit me in there, turn off the lights, and say, "Figure it out."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a way different time
Not
now.
kidding.
But yeah, anyway,
Not
no,
kidding.
we would just let them run around the house naked, and
Nah, she'd beat my ass.
and that was the thing. I mean, obviously there was a couple times where dropped a deuce on the floor, but you know,
No, dude,
they learn
no,
quick. Seriously, they learn quick. My girlfriend's 3-year-old. We did the same thing with them. Just ran them around naked, potty trained in a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
They
shit.
here's the thing, at 3 they know when they have to go to the bathroom. 2, I
Yeah.
mean, where Calvin's at, like it's a little young. Like he might not, like he knows that he's going to the bathroom, but he doesn't know like what it is that when he has to go.
He knows when he's gone.
Yeah.
He doesn't know when he has to go.
Right.
at
Where
a
at
certain
3, I feel like they've got that figured out. Like
Yeah.
we'll look at him and we're like, "Do you got to go to the bathroom?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got to poop." I'm like, "All right, well, let's go to the toilet," and he'll run to the toilet. Or, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but there's times where there's some accidents, but you know, as long it's nice because with the hardwood floors, I don't have to worry about anything getting on
Yeah,
the carpet or
that's
anything like
it,
that.
man.
So
Well, that's like as we were saying as we were coming up here. I was like, this carpet's, you know, seen better days, but I was like, I've got 2 kids under just like, well, let's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I'm not fixing or doing anything in my house for the
No.
next 5 to 10 years. at
yeah,
least.
because it's just gonna get
destroyed. Right?
just destroyed. He's a fucking wrecking ball. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like it's
Just wait until little man gets up with him and
Oh,
they start
yeah,
beating
man.
the shit out of each other and like
that's what he tells. My mom was here yesterday watching one of them, and he's like, I want to fight Theo. I want to
Yeah.
fight him. And she looks at me because I was like, you know, telling him about trying to get it. Me and him always like wrestle and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, and he knows that I do jujitsu, and you know, mommy, she goes, "Daddy going to fight?" You know, you know, and so like he's like, you know, he's saying that he wants to fight his little brother, and it's hilarious. It's gonna be. I cannot wait till they're
That's my
like
nephew.
wanting to beat each other up and stuff. I got wrestling mats in the basement. It's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
it's funny watching the twins, man. They like trade off being the alpha dog. So
Oh,
like
I'm
one
sure.
week Roman's fucking form tackling Cash into the wall, and then the next week Roman's getting his head pounded in. It's like, what the fuck, man?
how is it with the oldest? Is he pretty good? Like, or is
He's like a sneaky gangster, dude. He'll just like when we're not looking, he just like irks him with his truck. And he's like,
Wasn't
I'm like,
me.
yeah, I'm like, I just hear him crying. I'm like, Levi, what the fuck?
What'd you do?
Looks at me.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was foul, dude.
Yeah.
It's like some
He
good,
fell.
like some good son
tripped.
Macaulay Culkin shit. Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
Macaulay Culkin meets like The Sopranos.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the emergency room again. I see.
Yeah,
He fell.
yeah. My wife's Italian, so
How you doing?
yeah.
Yeah. Resident Big Guido.
Do it. Do it.
What got to the point with mine where
Do
they
it.
were always fighting? So I've told the story a couple times, but so they were like just punching each other, bare knuckles. I'm like, and they were hurting each other. So I'm like, I bought them boxing gloves,
Yeah.
little kid boxing gloves, and we've got rules.
Yeah.
No punching above the shoulders, no punching below the
Yeah.
waist. So all it is body shots. And if someone gets punched in the face or hitting the nuts, the person that did the punching, they get punched in the face or the nuts. And it's
Trade
solved.
for a trade.
So it solves so many problems, and
I'm
they'll
sure.
they'll sit there and
I like it.
they'll just go after each other, body shots, and they solve
That's
their
my toy.
they solve their problems.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it solves their problems, and they do it, they get done with it, and then they're fine.
Yep. By the end of it, they're sharing the toy.
Yeah.
So
Boys will be boys.
boys,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. We were actually talking yesterday. A friend of ours was having twins, and we were just saying, like, man, like having twins first. I feel like would make like just having one kid like just a breeze.
Yeah.
But, like you did it the opposite way.
know.
So you know what having a
Yeah.
single was like, and then you had the double.
It's
The
like
double.
we're about
bowing.
to have two of these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Like,
at the same time.
shit.
Like,
Yeah. And this dude is still super small. He
Right.
can't even fucking walk.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. Well, it's almost better like that then, because then or maybe it's not. I don't know. But it's because like he's Calvin. I'm like chasing him, or he's like trying to pick up the baby, and
Yeah.
that's a whole nother like thing you got to like worry about. You just got to keep an eye on Calvin all the time because he's gonna. I'm afraid that he's gonna go try to pick up Theo or
He was really good with the babies.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
No,
good.
not so much. Yeah. So you guys are close to my size now. I'm gonna start fucking you up.
Yeah. Start fucking.
Like, buddy, you just wait, man. These dudes are gonna start tag teaming.
Yeah,
your
they're
ass.
gonna tag team
Yeah.
you. It's 2-on-1, bro.
Yeah.
No, are they identical?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, the people on the outside, they can't tell them apart, but
Oh,
I
of
got
course you
pretty
can.
distinct. Yeah.
Yeah, there's little things
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
know and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Cash has got that big ass head.
I love the names.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cash Roman.
Cash and
What's your
Roman.
oldest name?
Levi.
Levi.
You're good.
Yeah.
Gino,
And
Gino wanted to name. Levi was one that she wanted to name our second son. So we changed it.
Yeah.
We were going back.
Settle
and
on
forth.
Theo. I like that.
Yeah, Theo.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
turned out good.
How old are your
Yeah.
boys?
let's see, Connor's 5, about to be 6 next month. Oliver is 5 in December. They're 15 months apart.
So now they're like homies though.
Yeah.
Like they do everything.
Yeah, they're very, very close. And
Cool.
it's funny because like kids, it's like if someone's getting picked on at school, the other one will step in and don't mess with my brother.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. So there was an incident
Like
with a neighbor kid that was picking on Ollie, my youngest, and Connor stepped up and pushed the kid down and was like, "That's my brother. Don't mess with my brother." Almost like I'm the only one allowed to mess
Yeah.
with my brother.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, no, they're great. They get along great now. They and really once you get past 3, like 3 is just, to me, 3 was the worst age. Like everybody talks about the terrible 2s. Fuck that. 3.
Yeah.
Like at 2, they're still
like 3 to 4. Like
just
3 going
yeah,
into 4.
3 that whole year.
Okay.
Because like yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I
Great.
just entered that.
So yeah, so like so
On
you
fucking Sunday. so-
yeah, well, like the 2, like at 2, you're sitting there and they're having their tantrums, but and they're trying to figure out their emotions.
Yeah.
At 3, I feel like they've learned their emotions and now they're just purposely being little assholes.
Yeah.
Like they're
I'm already-
they're pushing those buttons. They're really like they just become that. It's like at 3 they become little assholes.
Yeah.
Like at 2 they can't control it, or they're
Yeah.
just. But at 3 they know, and now they're pushing the buttons to really But once you get past 3, like both of my boys at 3 were just, I'm like, what the fuck is gonna like what?
Yeah.
And so, but once both of them turned 4, it was fine.
Yeah, Levi's hitting that full stride where he's like, he'll just lay on the ground and be like, nah. We're not
Like,
doing this, get
yeah.
up. And then he'll look at you like, no, I was just being an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm caught. Yeah.
I'm caught.
Yeah. Whereas the twins, they're just throwing tantrums, like you said, trying to figure out
Yeah.
why they're mad about
Right.
something.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah, all of a sudden, what was it yesterday? He was like crying because, oh God, it was something so funny and like stupid. And I was like, why are you crying?
Yeah.
It was like his like he couldn't figure out how to like put something together, and he just like started crying. I'm like, dude, it's okay. Look. And he like still crying. I'm like, what? Like, I fixed it. It's good.
Yeah.
You know?
Problem solved. Man.
Problem solved. It's all good.
I need to increase my patience before I ever have kids.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
You guys deal with me. You know, like my tolerance for anything that impedes my anything is like.
And even still,
Yeah.
like, I feel like I'm very patient, but they fucking test the shit out of
dude,
it.
that was I think that was the hardest part of my transition to father, because I was like later in life. I didn't rush to have kids. I didn't rush to get married. I had buddies that like they were 25, 26, getting divorced, miserable.
Mhm.
And I was just like, yeah, I don't really want that, you know? So that was the hard part for me, was like living this bachelor lifestyle, doing whatever I wanted for as long as I wanted. And I had season tickets to the Cardinals and Blues. I would go to 60 fucking Cardinal games a year. And
Mhm.
like, I just loved doing that.
Yeah.
And that was gone like overnight. So it was like,
Yeah.
that was the hardest part for me. And I had a little challenge with it at the beginning. Like I didn't handle fatherhood awesome out of the gate. I'll be honest. So I was like,
And I didn't either.
Yeah.
It's definitely a struggle, especially with what we do for work, man.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like when it got to the point where I'm like having to like coordinate with her about me like doing work things and stuff, like that's when it was started to get really frustrating for me, just because I was like, man, this is like how we make money, is how we pay our bills. Like I need to go show these houses. I need to go do these things, but like I need to like also realize that I can't just leave her hanging with, you know, with the screaming baby. And yeah, it's just a hard transition at first, going from, you know, doing kind of whatever you want. I mean, me and Gina have been together since we were 18. So, you know, we've been together, you know, almost my entire life, or not my entire life, but like half of my life at this point.
to say damn near as long as
As long as I've not, you know, we've known each other longer than we've not known each other at this point, you know. Cool. And you know, but just like transitioning from, you know, kind of doing whatever we want. We've always been like super, you know, easygoing with each other, like never controlling or anything like that.
Yeah.
But obviously things change when you have a kid, and like it's just a big transition. And
For sure.
you know,
Same. And it's just the opposite. Like my ex-wife is a realtor. So she's got her stuff. I've got my stuff, and trying to figure that out and balance it and make it work now, where we're both trying to coordinate around it. There was a lot of headbutting.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, obviously, you know, women are carrying this baby for almost 10 months, you know, and they form that attachment to it. I mean, it took me a while before I was like, I love this little guy. Like,
yeah, that was the other thing. Is
there's not a lot that we can do in the first few months of its life, that we're just kind of like, I tried to help, but wasn't, you know, she wanted to take care of everything. And I'm like, I'm here. I can do something.
Right.
But I didn't really get that attachment or bond it took a couple months.
Well, I feel like I was forced to, that Levi's birth was sketchy. Like he came out and he wasn't breathing, and like they took him from us, and he had to get flown down to Cardinal Glennon. So he spent, like Josie didn't even get to hold him after she had him. Like it was bad. It was bad, dude. So like I had to go down there by myself as a new dad. She wasn't with me. Me and my sister, super fucked up. Like you said, you look at this little baby, you're like, what do I do with this? Right.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know how to change a diaper.
That's what I mean. And it was just me in there. Like I was expecting her to have him the whole time, and I'm just like there to support, and it was flip flopped, and then like for her to be able to not hold,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like it was
tough.
It was tough.
Yeah, we had kind of a similar situation with our first, not to the extent that you did, but he came out, he wasn't breathing, and they like took him down. They said eventually we found out he has what they apparently call in the hospital, they call it wimpy white boy syndrome. Apparently it happens to a lot of white boys that come out as a C-section. And that's supposedly like when they go through the vaginal canal and like get pushed out, like a lot of the fluid and shit gets like pushed out of their lungs or whatever when they come out that way. But with the C-section, they don't get that. So he came out and he had like a lot of fluid in his lungs and like wasn't breathing right. So they like took him to the NICU. And so I had to go down there and like, you know, by myself, you know, and I'm like FaceTiming her, you know, and it was like, she wasn't able to hold him at first until like, you know, couple hours later, which was
Mhm.
weird. But
Yeah.
man, not to the extent that you had, having to go to a whole different hospital. Like that's got to be terrifying.
It was shitty.
Yeah.
Like super crazy. But now he's a freaking beast.
Yeah.
So it all worked out.
Yeah, dude.
Did you watch the C-section?
Yeah. Well, I looked over the curtain. I've looked over the curtain. It's so she's had 2 C-sections now, and it's fucking wild because they literally like pull all the shit out and set it to the side.
Dude, it's crazy.
like, whoa.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But both times we didn't know the gender going in. So that was really
shit.
cool both times, like not knowing. We had our boy name and our girl name picked out both times, and
Wow.
yeah, it was cool. And it's for anybody out there that's gonna have a kid, I think it's a fun thing to do if you can handle not knowing.
I couldn't. Yeah, we had to figure
Yeah.
it out quick.
It's just it's fun, man. This makes that day even more like fun.
Yeah.
She's like, oh man, what are we having?
Yeah.
Because like those last couple weeks, I just wanted to know, is it a little girl? What's coming out? And
Well, I was gonna say, man, I feel like for me, I had to process that. Like,
Right.
if it's a girl, how am I gonna be?
Right.
Right. Like,
That's how.
I don't know.
yeah.
how I
It's like
was.
such a thing though. You can't really at least I can't like plan. It's just I feel like I'm gonna be what I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
And like I feel like me planning out what I'm gonna be doing. When this girl's 10 or whatever. Like I'm gonna be a completely different person in 10 years
For
from
sure.
now. So that's we just thought it was fun to not know, just make it more of a surprise, just make the day a little bit more special.
No, I like it, man.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, with the rise of gender reveal parties, though, I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
Did you guys do a gender reveal party?
For the twins, yeah.
Did you? Yeah, we didn't do one for either. The first one, we found out. The second one was an accident. She went in and we thought it was too soon. It was like her 20-week ultrasound.
Yeah.
And the nurse let it slip, like, "Oh, he's doing great."
Yeah.
And
Oh,
she's
damn.
and she was.
Yeah, we
just-
always had to let them know, like, oh, we don't know
I
the
wasn't.
gender.
Even, I
We don't
wasn't
know.
even there. She's like, "Oh, it's just my 20-week. You don't have to go. We're not going to find anything out. We're just making sure everything's healthy." And I think I had a closing that morning or something like that. And then I come out to a text message. Well, I know what we're having, and I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, the nurse let it slip." So I called her, and she's like, "Yeah, we're having another boy." And I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
Good.
Damn, we
Yeah.
all got boys. I just
Yeah.
thought about that.
Oh.
I just added 3 more.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, so
Oh, yeah. You're,
A girlfriend
New
has
girl,
3
yeah.
boys.
oh, wow.
3, 9, and 13. Just turned 13.
Shit.
Yeah. It's
yeah, they just did a
Freaking-
trip down.
Oh.
Where'd you go? Indiana or
no, we with all 5 of us,
Yeah.
we went up to Iowa.
Iowa?
Yeah, that's where she's from.
Wild times.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
5 boys in a car.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the
God.
older boys, because they're going through a lot of changes right now, so they're kind of the wild and crazy ones
Yeah.
compared to like
13, man. I was
the
an
3,
asshole.
the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds are. I mean, they're fine. It's
Started to take 4 showers
Yeah.
a day and shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's for sure. Like we're like, Owen, you don't need to shower again.
Yeah.
You've got 5. Like no, I'll give you 2. You get 5 minutes in the morning. You get 5 minutes before bed.
Those long showers.
Oh, yeah.
You do not have a head cold and we can't keep a Kleenex in this fucking house. What's up, dude? Yeah. Dude, when we bought our new house, they had teenage boys.
Oh boy.
Dude, we found a homemade fleshlight
No.
in the basement. We had a contractor over doing some electrical work, and he ran this electric wire, and he opened up this cabinet, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm not going to touch this thing. Can you come down here?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I go down there, and yeah, this dude made a fleshlight out of a tennis ball can. And we were like, he was just nutting in a tennis ball can. Yeah, there was like, I don't know what was in it, but it was old and disgusting. so I had to like,
Didn't dissect it.
no, yeah, I didn't dig in too much, man. I wasn't that curious. Oh, God. So that was definitely the grossest thing I've ever seen. But
That wasn't disclosed on the
right.
disclosure.
Should have reached out. Hey, do you guys want your homemade fleshlights?
Can I get some comps on this, please?
Yeah.
Go drop
Yeah.
it off there. Hey,
This
you forgot
wasn't listed in the personal properties
Yeah.
section.
You forgot this.
Is your son an engineering student by chance? Because it's a brilliant mind.
I mean, it had, but like, here's my thing: is like, it couldn't just be a can; it had to be lined with something.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know
what
what was in there. There was something in there, but
Right.
yeah, I don't
Just
know.
saran wrap some styrofoam in that thing. A little KY jelly. It's kind of human.
I don't know what it was.
Follow me for more Fleshlight tips.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I'm gonna create an Instagram page just for fleshlights and pocket pussies. We'll podcast about that.
Yeah.
Well, if you want it, I can probably find it still.
Yeah. He
Nah,
kept it.
Study it.
Study
It's
it.
preserved. It's
Yeah.
been starched.
I was gonna say
a
it's
relic.
definitely
Actually, the more I think about it, like now I'm actually coming up with some creative combinations.
I'm like, what if the son of a bitch invented that, but he didn't know he invented it?
Yeah.
And then he just got fucked out all the money.
Yeah.
You know?
we just
Just
didn't-
over here banging a tennis ball can, and he could have been a
putting it
fucking
between the couch cushions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This has been a really unique series of interviews we've done recently. There's just always something coming up about like, I don't know,
Shitting yourself.
Yeah.
Fleshlights.
I
the
so-
thing that Adam was talking about in the house on Ultimate Fighter.
Oh yeah.
Shower thing.
Oh yeah, jacking off and
Yeah.
figuring out a place to jack off.
Yeah, we were just talking about kids a second ago. So like,
Well, I had a listing
And then his
appointment where
listing.
there was and this was the
Larry.
guy, the guy, her boy Larry.
long live Larry.
Live one-legged Larry. Yeah, I had this,
Oh boy.
yeah, this old gentleman went on a listing appointment, and this guy is one leg in a wheelchair at this house, and he basically I didn't know this going over there, but when I get over there, he tells me, "Oh, I'm not looking to sell for like another 8 years." I'm like, okay. Well, I might as well take a look around while I'm here. And I go and look in this room, and he's got this whole like sex room like set up with like
Nice.
a bunch of like dildos and like these like weird like medieval like
Stable.
like the stockade thing. He had this like chair with like straps, and
Oh
he
yeah.
had like the Ramsey Bolton cross
Oh,
from
God.
yeah, dude. At all, and I'm like, dude, what is? Yeah, it was crazy. And he gave me no warrant because he stayed in the living room in his wheelchair,
Yeah.
and I was like, you mind if I just look around so that I kind of know what I'm? Yeah, go take a look, and just no warning whatsoever. The only bedroom that was closed.
Jesus.
Yeah, I take a peek in there, and I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I was going to ask you what the weirdest thing you've ever seen is. I have to assume it's that.
That's that.
Yeah.
That's that.
What about you?
I went into a house in Tower Grove South that was a fucking actual vampire lived in it. So their primary bedroom now, we can't say master anymore.
Yeah.
Primary was, they had a fucking coffin in it. It was
Nice.
a legit coffin, black painted room with candles and shit everywhere. And they slept in a coffin.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's
Like
dedication.
the couple, like they both slept in a coffin.
They had
It's
two,
like
there was two coffins.
two coffins.
Yep. Separate
Vampire
coffins.
purists. You don't
Yeah.
need to sleep in a coffin.
Right.
You should be hanging upside down from
Yeah.
the ceiling.
Right.
That's how
Yeah. If you're going to be legit.
What was the
Get an inversion board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, those things are legit.
Yeah?
Those things fucking work.
Oh, I know. I've been on one.
They're
They're
neat.
great.
Now, what was the rest of the house like?
Super dark and fucking sketchy, like
Gothic.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
gothic as fuck.
Where'd that lead come from?
Oh no, I didn't. I showed that house.
Oh,
yeah.
showed it. Okay. Yeah,
And
that's.
they left it like that? Did they
Yeah.
take
There was
out
no.
the
There was
list?
no interior photos.
Oh, so you had
Shocking.
no idea what was
Yeah,
shocker.
walked into fucking Castle Transylvania and
Yeah.
shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Walked into Van Helsing.
Yeah. All right. Real question. You ever been in a haunted house?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you believe in that shit?
Yes, I do.
I mean, I don't think that energy ever really dies.
Agreed.
I think like buildings hold memories. I
Yeah.
think there's something to that because like there's sometimes you just walk into buildings and you're like, ooh, there's some shit that's happened
You can
here.
feel
Yeah,
it.
You can feel
You
it.
can feel energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
There's a-
sure.
There's
There's a
something to
tightness
that.
in the air that comes with trauma being in a place.
Yep.
And it's just like it's kind of like that idea of like the Conjuring. It's like a conduit. The minute you step into it, like, whoa,
Yeah.
that's
Dude.
not normal.
Have you guys been to Lemp Mansion?
I don't think I
have.
actually
As soon
have.
as you step in there, you just you're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I've never
We had
never
a-
like seen anything or like had any like crazy, like door slam in front of me or anything like that, or seen anything like move or levitate or anything. But like I've definitely like walked into buildings where I'm like, ooh, this is
We had a house. We had a house in SEMO, and mind you, that was like there's a lot of Civil War activity down there,
Mhm.
a bunch of crazy shit. And we found out that this house was like they housed injured soldiers, and sure, hella people died in it.
sure.
And one night we had we had 3 total roommates going into Thanksgiving break. I had a poker night. Everybody else was like leaving town, so the guys my buddies that were there, we all played poker, shitted, and just hung out. That night, I'm the only one at the house. My other 2 roommates were gone. we had finished a Jack Daniel's bottle around the table. I just put the empty bottle up on the fridge. That night,
Classic.
sitting there, yeah, right. Drunk, like,
College. Yeah,
fucking
no,
locking.
yeah.
But it was kind of a shitty neighborhood, so I'd always lock up and make sure everything's squared away. Go lay down in my bed, and my TV like does that fuzz. We're just like out of nowhere. I'm just watching Sports Center, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm like, what the fuck? And I hear boom, 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 and I was like, yeah, dude. I had this like fucking foot-long Bowie knife next to my bed, and I'm like flipping lights on. I'm like, what's up, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Where we at? And like I was hammered.
Yeah.
Just thought I was
Tough
gonna
guy.
do something. Yeah.
Fucking Rambo.
Yeah, probably would have got my ass kicked and killed, but whatever. No, so that everything was locked. Nobody's in the house. That Jack Daniel's bottle went across the kitchen, shattered on the wall, and put a dent in the wall. And I just got up and dude, I'll get
Ooh,
goosebumps,
dude, yeah,
bro.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, so I'm like, and it was that type of house where like you'd go down to do laundry, and you could like when you're going up, you're like, fuck. Like
Yeah,
looking
no,
behind you, and you
yeah.
could feel like energy, like get the fuck out.
like,
Yeah,
the,
dude.
the
Oh,
run up the
look at this
steps.
shit.
thing.
Look at this shit, bro. Like I just remember that night so vividly, and I like called some other friends. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, and they're like, crazy, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
that place was crazy.
That's crazy.
So I never felt it, but I had a similar situation in college. Not my roommate now, he did smoke a lot of weed. So let's preface that. But we lived across from a cemetery. And the crazy thing about the cemetery too is if you looked out the front door, there was a tombstone that said P. Doyle. I was like, that's kind of weird. But anyway, yeah, like again, I never experienced it. I thought I had, but it was just him high and drunk in the thing, flipping the lights on and off. I thought he was gone. I woke up to the lights going on and off, and then I woke up and was just passed out on the floor in the kitchen. But he was always like, "Oh, dude, I swear I see things move." And there was like a hand that came out of the wall at me, and I'm like, "But I mean, if you went in our basement, like the house was held up with about 4 feet of dirt throughout the entire basement and tree stumps." There's
Tree stumps.
tree stumps. Yeah. So it's like, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they ran out of room at the cemetery and they buried him underneath this house. I don't know, but it was fucking weird. But I mean, I never experienced anything, but I know that
was most crazy
Well,
shit.
now you
I
guys
ever-
got me thinking, and I guess I'm remembering a couple things now. But I had my fraternity house in college. You know, we all the bedrooms like had a name. So there was but there was one room that was called Ghost Room because some guy killed himself in that room, and there was always some weird shit that kind of went down in the house. But like I never experienced anything like sure I could think hard enough and find some stories that people said, but like. You know, there was like things you'd hear and stuff, but nothing like that crazy.
Yeah.
But-
I haven't ever experienced anything, but
Yeah.
I know I believe in that shit.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, but it was rare that you were in the house alone, you know, because
Yeah.
there was like 25, I think like
Yeah.
full capacity, the house slept like 20 something dudes.
That was it. That was the maybe the only time I was ever there by myself.
Right. Because you're, you know,
Outside of like just daytime, people
Right.
running to class or doing
in and out of
whatever.
class. Yeah.
exactly.
You're never there like
Was
at
that
night
by
alone.
myself for a weekend or
Yeah,
exactly.
so did you end up going to one of your buddy's houses?
Yeah,
or
I did.
something?
I did
Yeah.
not stay there. It was
Fuck no.
no, dude. I was like, I'm moving out of this motherfucker.
Dude, especially the fact that it went across the room. and
That's what I
touched the
mean.
wall,
It went from like this window to the TV. It was like a
Jeez.
full.
you know, across the room.
Yeah, it didn't just fall off the fridge, which
Yeah.
that in itself would have been scary. but,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
for it to go like.
But for it
I-
to sail across the room.
I feel like a crazy person when I tell that story, but like that shit happened.
Bro,
I
the
got
way,
fucking-
the
yeah.
way your arm, you
Dude.
just, yeah, all the hair on your arms standing up and
Yeah.
goosebumps. Like there's something to that
Yeah.
for sure.
That soldier was probably told that this was going to help his pain, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pissed off.
yeah. He went up to get the
He's like,
jack and
"It's
was like, "It's empty." Fucking motherfucker. Cocksuckers drank it all.
You fuckers.
Captain Jack Sparrow, where's the
Yeah.
rum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is the rum gone?
We need more rum.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh shit. So,
Yeah.
well, anything else you want to pitch while we got you here, or anything like that?
I don't think so, man. I don't have anything big coming up. Like I said, I'm kind of in a place where I'm transitioning to focus on building some generational wealth for the boys, and I would like to have property for each of them. That way, when they graduate and they teach them about cash flow, they have their own place to either live or sell it, do whatever they want with it. But I just want to teach them things that I wasn't taught. Right.
Yeah, I
So,
want to do something similar. Like I want to buy each one of my kids. Like that's your kind of when you turn 18, you
Yeah,
can live
that's
there,
your-
you
that's
can
your-
sell it, you can,
this is your start, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving you a start, and what you do with it is on you.
Yeah.
I hope that I've taught you enough that you don't fuck it up.
Right.
And if you fuck it up, that's it, bud.
It's yours, man.
Yep.
I'm not giving you another one.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I love that. We're going to do something very similar.
I mean, they're great college plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. 'cause
And if they
it's-
decide, who knows where the fuck college
well,
is
that's
gonna
what
be
we
at
were
that
talking
point in
about the other
time.
Yeah.
day, dude. I mean, we were saying like, is college even going to be a thing when
Bro.
our boys are, 18?
If I could have gone back in time, I probably wouldn't have went. I think
No.
the best thing I got out of it was some of the relationships.
Oh, that's
Right.
exactly what I was going to say.
Um,
Like the friendships that I
yeah,
made and like some of the people like that I'm still friends with today. I've, closed a handful of transactions from my
Yeah.
buddies from college. But like, other than that, like, yeah, it was I got a big piece of paper that I've done nothing with. I've never used it to get a job. I've never, yeah. So
Yep.
who knows when we, in 15 years from now or something, when all our boys are getting ready or, getting toward the end of high school, who knows what if it's going to be a thing.
Yep.
Because we were talking about, setting up some sort of, account or like retirement account.
529.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 529.
Yeah. Is that the one there's one that can only be used for college, right?
529.
Yeah, 529's
yeah.
for schools.
And so we were like, ooh, I don't know if we do that.
Well, that's
Like,
the
I don't
thing.
want to put all this money into that. And then if they decide they don't want to go to school.
Yeah, I mean, we had that option with the financial advisors that I work with. And back there's a lot of changes to it, but back then it could only be used for school. So you put all that money in it, you can get your principal out. But if you don't use it for school, then you lost any growth that was in there. So I opened up. I'm like, I want my money to be versatile. So I did like a VUL. So it's like a cash value life policy.
Yeah.
So they got the life policy, but then there's a cash value attached to it, and it grows. It's been averaging about 12%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we did a rough number, and it's like $175 a month for each boy. By the time they hit college age, if it continues to grow, should be about $80,000.
Yeah.
That they can use.
But I'm actually looking at pulling cash out of my life insurance to buy my next rental.
Yeah, but it's something too that I need to look into that, and because that was part of the plan prior to the divorce, was looking into getting into investment properties, but that divorce will put any of those plans on the back burner real quick. So
Well, we'll get there, bro. Hey, eventually,
Yeah.
when
Hey.
the podcast is huge,
Right.
we have all this
Power
money coming
through.
in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, buy a podcast studio.
Yeah, no, that'll be that's.
yeah.
I mean, that's one of the first things
Right.
I want to do whenever this down the line, if this can get monetized and we start making some money from it, I would love to just get like a small commercial space for
Yeah,
us to
absolutely.
just rent out, just because it's with my one son, that's his bedroom there, this the other one's here, so it's
Yeah.
like it kind of limits the times that we can like do this. It would be cool if like on a Friday night, we wanted to like get together, and do a podcast.
I mean,
that,
just
you know-
seeing
even
your,
just to,
seeing
like-
your shorts and shit though. Like I for real didn't know this was in your house.
Really? That's what everybody
it's
says.
a
I
cool.
mean,
It's
yeah.
a
Cool little setup.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
for sure.
I totally would take everything in here and move it into,
Yeah.
I mean, we just need a small little space. It
Yeah,
doesn't
man.
need to be anything crazy.
Sure.
Just create our own. Put a bar in there.
Yeah.
Fun.
Okay. Well,
Just like a hangout?
I was going to turn that into a little, I mean, I had him run some electric in there. I just haven't done anything with it.
Yeah.
We're going to remove that door and make like a little coffee bar kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just throw one of those shelves in there and line
Oh.
it with booze.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could definitely do that because we're going to get rid of one of the shelves when we get the sign. So perfect.
Bada bing.
Boom. Perfect plan.
Yeah, there we go.
I love it.
Well, before we let you go,
Yeah.
one last question. We call this the tombstone game.
After all the talk about ghosts and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here lies Aaron. What's it say on your tombstone?
Damn. Ready for that?
Take a second.
Yeah, that's
Mine was global enemy of communism.
I like that. Fuck. Communism.
Give me that.
I think.
Fuck communism.
Yeah. Fuck communism would be line one.
I like this guy.
Yeah. Present father, hard worker, big dick.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's maybe my favorite one so
Yeah.
far.
I don't know. I was
that's
not prepared for that.
No,
That's why
That's
we
it,
like
though.
to ask it. It's something
Yeah,
that catches
that's good,
people
man.
off
No,
guard.
it's
and-
I used to want like the largest funeral procession. Like that was my goal. Like if I had a bunch of people at my funeral, that'd be awesome. But like I feel like the moment I hit 40, I quit becoming like a people pleaser, and it's just been like I want my tight homies. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, no, that answer would have been completely different for me probably 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, if I'm looked at as I was a good father, I worked my ass off, I tried to provide for my sons, and I raised smart, strong young men. That's all I need.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah.
amazing how kids change things.
Dude, it
Fucking
does,
A,
man.
bro.
It's changed everything, man. Over the
Yeah.
last, 2 years, life and my mentality toward everything has changed.
Yep.
For sure.
Good.
In
Good
a good
shit.
way. In a great way. I mean,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's good
Wouldn't-
stuff.
Wouldn't do
baby.
anything
Oh, yeah.
different.
Thanks
All
for having me on, boys.
Absolutely,
Thanks
bro.
for
Thanks for
coming on.
coming on. This is fun.
Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Comment what you guys thought below. Hit the like button, and we will see you next time.